Inside Sports with Eric May. Today's special guest, Nick DeAnastasis.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Inside Sports here on LCTV 66. Eric May along with Nick DeAnastasis. Thanks for joining us. Nick, how have you been?
Pretty good, Eric. How you been?
Good.
It's so great. We're together for our first show together this year since April the 6th.
Well, and we're going to kind of put a recap on the baseball season.
Right, yes.
Kind of take a look at the World Series, kind of get your thoughts on that.
Right.
So what'd you think, Cubs-Indians series?
That was remarkable. You know, even though I wanted to see the Indians win 7 games, because that'd be a second favorite team, that's in those situations. But give a lot of credit to the Cubs. They were resilient. They were incredible. The winning 7 games they did was amazing how the Cubs did that. Hats off the Cubs. Deserve to be the world champions. Absolutely. The first world championship since 1908. The first pennant they won since 1945. That's historic. That's
I didn't hear.
Sports.
Did Chicago celebrate at all?
It was remarkable. It was
a little bit.
One of the most remarkable stories in pro sports this past year.
I can honestly tell you that when the Indians went in and won 2 out of 3 in Chicago, I really thought that all arrows pointed to the Indians winning. And I thought, okay, it goes back to Cleveland. All they have to do is win 1 out of 2. But it seems like that's when the Cubs bats really started to wake up.
Exactly.
At tail end of the season, or at the end of the series. And yeah, like you said, give them credit. They came through in the clutch when they needed it. But really, when you look at it, especially Game 7, I mean, anytime there's a Game 7, you're going to have full of drama. But then you figure the Cubs jump out to that early lead, Indians come back with that home run, to tie it up. And then you get a rain delay.
Right, yeah, the rain delay.
That just adds more drama to the whole thing, and then the Cubs come out in extra innings and win it. So really, from a TV standpoint, you can't ask for anything better.
I know. That was a classic Game 7 of the World Series Fall Classic. It was. The Game 7 was something.
And if I'm not mistaken, what I see, 40 million viewers? Somewhere in that vicinity.
Is that what it was?
For Game 7?
I won't be surprised if that was the case.
Yeah.
Because it was that popular of a World Series. 2 great teams went at it, and
and I think what added to it were 2 teams that hadn't won in so long. And I don't know if you saw the very beginning of the series, but Fox did a little clip on some old-time fans in both Cleveland and Chicago. I mean, I'm talking people that were up near 100 years old.
Wow,
and
isn't that something?
Just what they have lived through being a fan for their respective teams. I thought it was an excellent piece.
I did see it's a little bit pieces at the very beginning. That was something when they showed the old history of the Cubs and the Indians when they first started all those years ago, and that's just something.
Yeah. So I mean, again, I was hoping for Cleveland to win it, but again, hats off to the Cubs. And I look at this, and Ben Zobrist, who was the MVP. Kind of really a perfect fit for this Cubs team this year.
It was.
World Series champion last year with Kansas City, was a free agent signed with the Cubs.
Right. Yeah.
And you've got to figure that experience that he has gone through, along with David Ross, the catcher.
Exactly.
These guys have been through the ringer as far as the World Series. They know what it's like and what to expect. I think their experience had an influence.
It did. It really did. Impact the whole team. It really did.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Zobrist, the MVP, didn't really start out well, but ended up hitting .357, drove in a pair of runs, and at least 1 hit in 6 of the 7 games. So, again, nothing dominating, but consistent the whole way through.
Exactly. That's what it was.
So what's your take on some of these Cubs budding superstars, Anthony Rizzo and Chris Bryant?
I'll tell you, I'm impressed with Chris Bryant. He's one of the best young sluggers in the game. Was second year in major leagues this year. He's already National League MVP at the tender age of 24. Isn't that something? He'll become an even better player if he stays healthy. All that stuff, physically, all that stuff, he could become an all-time great home run hitter for years to come.
Yeah, and Anthony Rizzo, another young guy.
Yeah, a pretty good ball player. Yeah, he's good.
The thing I like about Rizzo is he looks like he's just having fun. I mean, he's a tremendous ball player, but he's having fun. And you don't really see that too many times out of a professional athlete. A guy that's just really out enjoying playing the game.
Right.
Let's see. And this is another guy. Started out slow, hit 182 in the first 3 games, but then ended up with a pair of multi-hit games and then a hit in each of the last 6 games of the series. So you look at it as a Cubs fan, to have those two guys in the lineup, that's a nice foundation for the future. Now, of course, they've got to stay healthy then too.
Exactly. Exactly.
What was your take on some of the managing, some of the moves,
Yeah.
especially Joe Madden?
Oh yeah, that game 7, he took out his starting pitcher a little too early. Fortunate for Joe Madden, didn't come back to haunt him. They ended up losing that game. I think his starting pitcher pitching well too early. But the other guy, he got wild, and it didn't make sense. Fortunately, the Cubs, they ended up winning anyway.
Yeah,
At the bottom line at the end.
I
I suppose they wouldn't have won. I mean, the starting pitcher doing well for them. They should never just pulled him out so early like he did.
yeah.
I don't get that.
Question why he pulled Kendrick so early, because he
Yeah.
really was pitching well.
Exactly.
But then on top of that, to leave Chapman in for an extended period of time after he had pitched multiple innings
That
in the previous.
that didn't make sense. That almost actually cost him the game.
Yeah.
When left Chapman in like they did.
You can only think if it would have gone the other way and Indians would have won,
Yeah.
that Joe Madden would have been questioned on that.
Oh, absolutely would have.
Steve Bartman would be off the hook, and he might be off the hook now too.
Right.
You know,
That's
for
true.
what happened. But the other pitching thing scenarios, you look at the Indians, and what Corey Kluber did in his first 2 starts was just amazing.
It was. Yeah.
Let's see. One's game 1 and 4, 1 run over 12 innings, and then you get Andrew Miller out of the bullpen. His first 16 post-sitting innings, didn't give up a run. So Terry Francona pushing all the right buttons as well.
Yeah.
The pitching was phenomenal.
It was. Yeah. Absolutely. And Joe Madden, I realized helping Joe Madden win the World Series of the Cubs. The fact that he won the World Series with the Tampa Bay Rays and lost the Phillies in 5 games anyhow in 2008 helped him experience how it was like to manage a World Series.
Yeah.
What it takes to win one. He just, he got over the hump. And Frank Conn, of course, he won 2 World Series, in Boston. He's out in a good job with the Indians as well.
Well, think about it.
Tremendous manager.
Yeah, he won a series with the Red Sox, broke their curse. This would have broken a curse as far as the Indians are concerned.
Right, exactly.
So,
yeah.
okay. All right, well, let me throw out a couple World Series trivia questions
Sure,
for you.
absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
5 years ago, St. Louis Cardinals won the World Series in 7 games. Who'd they beat?
Carter, the 2011 World Series, and who they knocked off. Oh, well, that's La Russa last year before he retired, too. He went out with a swan song with a World Series championship, La Russa, 2011 Cardinals. Oh, they beat Texas Rangers.
It was
in
Texas
7
Rangers.
games.
Yep.
Came behind and won in 7 games.
That was a tremendous 7-game series as well.
Yeah,
Yep. So you're 1 for 1. All right. Reggie Jackson earned the nickname Mr. October back in 1977 by hitting 5 home runs in that World Series. That was tied in the 2009 World Series. It was done against the Yankees. Who hit 5 home runs in that World Series?
And it was done against the Yankees.
Against the Yankees.
The 2009 World Series.
Yeah.
Oh, my. I'm going to take a guess on that. That's a great trivia question. I'll say Chase Utley.
Chase Utley, and he's right behind me.
Oh, my
so
gosh,
there you
wow.
go.
Yeah.
All right. 1984 World Series, Game 5. Kirk Gibson hits a game-winning home run for the Detroit Tigers. Who was the Hall of Fame pitcher? And there's a hint that he hit it against. And that was against the San Diego Padres.
Oh, my gosh. I think I might be able to get this one. Oh, my gosh. At least have a good guess. Rich Gossage?
You got it. You are 3 for 3.
Oh, that's something. I'm glad I got it.
Nice. Yeah, you're on a roll here. So let's see. I got a couple more. All right. Let's end this segment on this one.
That's fine.
This one's going to make you think.
Oh, that's fine.
All right.
That's what it's all about. It's a challenge.
First time in history, 2 wild card teams met in the World Series.
I said, pretty one more time. Go ahead.
First time in history that 2 wild card teams actually played in the World Series. Give me a year or give me the teams that played in that series.
That's a very good trivia question. I'll think that out a little bit. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it definitely wasn't 2009. The Phillies and Yankees obviously wasn't that year.
Nope.
Okay.
I can give you the year, maybe if you can give me the teams. You want that?
Was it at least between 5 to 8 years ago? Would you say roughly?
It was
More or less?
2000. It was 2002.
Oh, that 2002.
Yep.
Oh, that far back. Oh, that's fine. 14 years ago. Okay. Well, I'm going to guess at that one. Oh my God. I think I might remember now. It's Mike Scioscia and those Anaheim Angels
That's
against
one.
Barry Bonds and the San Francisco Giants.
You got it. And the Angels won in a 7-game series.
Right.
Take a guess. Can you remember who the MVP was? From the Angels?
Okay. Oh, that's a good one. Oh my gosh.
This guy kind of faded out after winning the MVP this year.
Okay.
4 of the 7 games were decided by 1 run. So that was another great.
Interesting. Was it? You know what? I'm going to think. I got to rethink. Let me think. Was that player in the Angels? Was his last name Salmon by chance? Is
No,
that
Tim
possible?
Salmon? No.
Tim Salmon. It wasn't Tim
No.
Salmon. Okay.
It was Troy Gloss.
Troy Gloss. Okay, that's
Yeah.
what it was.
So that's all right. That's good. You got 4 for 4.
Yeah, not too bad.
All right. Well, we're going to get to more trivia and more about the World Series after return. Inside Sports here on LCTV 66.
LCTV 66 is your community channel, and your donations keep us on the air and help to produce more local programs. Send your tax-deductible donation of $500, $100, or more to the address on the screen. Or think of it this way. For the price of a couple of movie tickets, you can help support your community channel. Send what you can and be a part of all that is good about Lancaster County. Thank you for your tax-deductible donation to LCTV 66, Lancaster's Connection.
LCTV 66 is your connection for high school and college sports. Catch the action of your favorite teams in Lancaster County. Coverage of basketball, ice hockey, field hockey, soccer, football, and more. To join the LCTV sports production team or to sponsor or underwrite a sporting event, contact us at info@lctv66.org or call 717-394-LCTV. This is your community, your teams on your local sports channel, Lancaster Community TV.
And welcome back to Inside Sports as we continue our discussion of the wrap-up of the World Series. And, Nick, we talked about it in the first segment, but how Joe Madden was using Chapman
Right.
late.
Yeah.
Interesting stat I saw. Aroldis Chapman 4 times, or excuse me, let me take that back. He went longer than 1 inning during the regular season as far as pitching outing. He did it 4 times over the entire season.
Okay.
4 times Chapman went longer than 1 inning in the World Series. So 4 times over, well, I don't know since he became a Cub, but I guess this is even when he was with the Yankees. 4 times over 162 games. And then he's used 4 times, more than 1 inning in a 7-game series. The guy had to be running out of gas.
I would think so. You get a little tired. Anyway, I can see why. Some pitchers, relievers can be overworked in a series like that.
Now the question is,
situation.
he is a free agent. Now, do you think his faltering late is going to hurt his stock, or do you think because the style of pitcher and the way he can really be a dominant closer, that will oversee that?
That's a good question. In spite of the fact they gave up a 2-run tying home run, and that bomb the 8th inning in Cleveland, Game 7 of the World Series, the tied 6-6. Because the Cubs came back in 1 inning and extra innings, did it the hard way. Give Cubs a lot of credit. Amazing how they did that. They regrouped during the rain delay, and they found a way to do it the hard way. And Cleveland can win 7 games. I think Chapman, Madison World Championship teams that turned out in, ended up being a winning pitcher that game. Isn't that something later?
Yeah.
That's remarkable.
Yeah.
I'd say his stock will be okay. There'll be other team would love to sign him up, have him as a good closer. If the Cubs can't sign him, the new contract first, that is.
All right. Yes or no question. Is he a Cub next season?
Well, based on the fact that he found a way They ended up winning the hard way, found a way to get through the season the way he did. I'll have to say, I'm going to say the Cubs are going to. I have a hunch the Cubs will give him a new contract to keep him in Chicago in 2 or 3 years as a Cub.
Okay. Dexter Fowler, who started Game 7 with a home run. He's a free agent. He says he's open to coming back to Chicago. Is Dexter Fowler a Cub next year, or is he playing for somebody new?
That all depends. The kind of money he might be asking for, the Cubs are willing to pay it to him. You know, that kind of money, whatever money he might be asking for a new contract. I would say the Cubs do anything they can to try and bring him back to Chicago next year as a Cub because helping to win the World Series this year. What he did, tremendous year he had as a player.
Okay, so yes or no? Is he there? And of course, we don't know
Right.
what discussion
Yeah.
is being, as far as
Right.
amount of a contract or length of a contract. Just a hunch feeling, yes or no? Is he in Chicago?
Now the Cubs want it all. They may think about repeating next year. I'll say he'll come back to the Cubs next year. Great possibility.
Okay. All right. We're going to move east now. Make a stop in Philadelphia. What would you like the Phillies to do in the off season? As far as, do you want to see them make any trades? Obviously, Ryan Howard, that's official. He's done. What would you like to see them do as far as either trades or free agent signings?
I think they need to make a couple big deals to help, get them at least get in the playoffs by next year. This is a wild card team at best. They should probably try and pick up at least one really good starting pitcher. Quality starting pitcher is not that old. Actually, in his prime of his career, would help a lot because Jeremy Hullickson looks like he might be leaving Philadelphia. He's a free agent. Great possibility at this point.
Yeah, he was talked
Probably
about.
headed
He was
elsewhere.
talked about being traded at the trading deadline.
Right, exactly. That's one of the reasons why I say that. And their reason is too that they need to also probably pick up maybe another good relief pitcher to help out in the bullpen as well. And it wouldn't hurt them to pick up another slugger that's not that old that can help replace a Ryan Howard in a lineup on a full-time basis for 162 game season overall anyway.
Well, you have Joseph.
Pretty
I mean,
good,
I
pretty good
guess
young player. He's good.
I guess
His
he's the
credit.
heir apparent at first base, right?
He's pretty good. Give him credit. He had some good games in Philly. He did when Howard was struggling the first half of the year. Before Ford Howard got hot, he got out of it. Ended up with a pretty decent year with the Phillies.
Speaking of Ryan Howard, now that he has been officially released from the Phillies, do you see him catching on with anybody?
Because way finished the year, the Phillies with a lot of home runs and RBIs overall, even though his batting average is under 200 in spite of it. I see their team, one or two other teams pick him up as make a tremendous DH. He can play in American League as a DH for at least 2 more years and be very productive. I see a team maybe like Kansas City might be interested in him because he went to Southwest Missouri State, play college baseball, as you probably realize, from that state of Missouri, his hometown. Or I see him maybe playing possibly the Tampa Bay Rays. I heard rumors that the Tampa Bay Rays might be interested in getting him next year. That's what I said about Ryan Howard when we finished the season. The Phillies did in the last year when they honored him for that last game. That big thing they had for him.
Yeah, that was a nice touch because I was
Great,
wondering.
that's great. They did that for him. It really is. He earned it. He did.
He did, but
Yeah.
the way his career was really starting to go downhill, and Phillies fans were getting a little upset with Ryan Howard because of the contract and the fact that they were just tied to him.
Right.
despite,
Exactly. Yeah.
you know.
They need
So,
to
yeah,
let him
it was-
go.
but-
It's a tough business decision. He probably realizes that.
And that's
how
the
it
thing.
works.
It is a business.
Yeah,
It is
they
a
need to move
business.
forward. He needed to move forward himself. Better for him and the franchise to both move on. And
Okay.
that's how
well,
it works.
we'll see what happens over the winter months.
Yeah.
All right, I got a couple more trivia questions here. Let's see how you can do on these. What team appeared in the World Series the most times in the 1990s?
Oh, that's a really interesting one. Oh my God.
I got some softball questions here, but that's all right.
Okay. Well, you said from the National League, right?
It
It
just
doesn't
says
matter which
what,
league.
What team appeared in the most
Oh,
World
that-
Series
okay.
during the 1990s?
Oh my God. I think I might know. I'm going to say the Atlanta Braves.
The Atlanta Braves is correct. 5 times, but they only won once. In 95 against the Indians, 4-2.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Indians is indeed correct. All right. What player has played in the most World Series. 14 of them. Who was it?
Okay. That's a really good one. One player played in 14 World Series.
14 World Series.
For that to be the case, I'm assuming you're probably going way, way back, aren't you?
Oh,
when this
it's
happened?
going back.
We're talking, I'll say, maybe 40, 50, 60, 70 years. Not quite that far back, would you say? Mm-hmm. Oh, my God. Well, oh, my gosh. That could be, oh, you see, okay. It has to be one individual player. It can't be a couple of
Nope.
guys from the same
One
team.
guy.
Okay, got it. Okay. Okay.
So yeah, obviously somebody that played for a team that was part of a dynasty. There's a hint.
Oh, my God. I think I know. It would probably be Babe Ruth, I bet. Babe
No.
Ruth.
No,
Not Babe Ruth.
no.
Oh, my gosh. With the Yankees all those years he's with before.
This guy was probably more well known for some of his catchphrases and comments and
Oh, my gosh.
quips. He had a son that played in Major League Baseball as well.
Oh, my God. I'm thinking of maybe Bob Boone. Isn't there a possibility? Bob Boone had two sons playing majors. They're pretty good
This
players.
guy
Their
just
credit.
this guy just recently passed away about within a year or two.
Oh, my God.
He was a catcher. He was an outfielder. War number 8.
Oh, my gosh. Would it be Gary Carter?
How about Yogi Berra?
Yogi Berra. Oh, my God. I
Yes.
was thinking of Babe Ruth.
Nope.
Oh,
Nope.
my God.
Yogi Berra.
Yogi Berra.
There's your first out.
Isn't that
All right.
something?
1989 was called the Earthquake Series. What two teams played in that World Series?
I
Got
remember that
interrupted by the earthquake.
Oh, I remember that very well. 1989.
Yep.
Yeah, I was in 1989. That was at Candlestick Park.
I thought you were going to say you were like 7 or 8 years old.
No,
You
no,
didn't-
no,
okay.
it wasn't that. No, it wasn't that. I was born back in 1962. I knew that couldn't be the case. But anyway, interesting. The two teams in that 1989 World Series during the Earthquake Series, it was sad. That was a rough time during that time during the earthquake in San Francisco. Was the Giants, Candlestick Park that day, playing against Tony La Russa and the Oakland Athletics, and
That's right.
yeah,
Yep.
and Mark McGuire. Yeah.
Yeah. Dave Stewart won 2 games and was the series MVP. Yep. It got suspended for 10 days before it was resumed.
I remember that day in 1989. Why I remember it so well? Not just because the stats, there's a little more to it than that. In 1989, that October day, 1989, I was in California with my brother Ernie on vacation, Universal Studios on vacation.
Oh,
that
my.
Day. That was the day of the earthquake. But fortunately, we're lucky. We were okay because
Did you feel it?
we didn't feel it all because we were at Universal Studios, Hollywood, California. Showed us how to make movies down there, stuff again, shows, all that stuff. Well, it happened back in San Francisco. They were here in California where they had a big earthquake.
Do you remember what the date was?
It was somewhere around the middle of October,
October 17th.
October 17th.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Last one here for you. Who hit the first series-winning walk-off home run in World Series history?
Wow. And the first ever, you mean? World Series
First
ever?
ever.
Oh, my God. Oh, you mean to win the World Series? You mean to win the series and the series period? That's what you're getting at, right? Oh, okay. Oh, that's very good. It's obviously pretty many years ago.
It's before you and I were born.
Oh, my God. Then I realized that's right. It can't be 1990, 93 when it's trying to beat the Phillies, right? That obviously cannot be that year. Okay.
Phillies fans remember that.
Oh, my gosh.
So do Blue Jays fans.
Okay, this is before we were both born.
This guy is now in the Hall of Fame as well.
Okay. I was thinking of. I was thinking that the 1960 Bill Mazeroski hitting a home run over the Yankees to win the World Series for the Pirates. Yogi Berra watched the ball still over the fence for a home run, and the Pirates beat the Yankees in 1960 World Series. Bill Mazeroski, of course, the hero. That's one of them I'm thinking of. I think obviously it might be somewhere else. It could happen obviously a little earlier years before that. Obviously, I would.
Well,
think.
you know what? You can leave it at that because that's right.
1960.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yep. Very good. 7 out of 8.
Glad I
You
could
passed.
come up with them. That helped. Felt good being able to do it. I mean, it just felt good to be back at the show. It's a lot of fun to be back again.
Yeah. Well, that puts a cap on the baseball season and the Cubs winning the World Series. Obviously, we'll get together again in the spring when baseball starts up again, and there'll be plenty to talk about, I'm sure, of trades, free agent signings, and predictions. And already, that's the thing. People are saying Cubs in the World Series are going to repeat. That's stretching it.
I realize it's hard to go World Series and win it all.
Yeah.
Especially win it one. You know why? All teams have to beat the team that won it the
Yeah,
year before. That's
'cause
how it works at all sports at all levels. It's
Too many,
tough. It's hard
too
to
many
repeat.
things.
It's tough to repeat.
Too many things
really
happen
tough.
between now and next
Oh my
year.
gosh, yeah, it's really tough to repeat.
So we'll pick this up in the spring. All right?
Yeah.
So for Nick DeAnastasios, I'm Eric May. Thanks for joining us Inside Sports on LCTV 66.